So this is going to be a little bit of an analysis and a running commentary of the fight between Michael Reeves and Stephan. It's a pretty short fight, so it shouldn't be that long, but I might be pausing in between. So if you want to watch the whole fight through and you haven't, maybe go to another video, and you can always come back here. And I'm also going to preface this with a few things and talk about the future, because I have seen the fight now. Because I'm so technologically illiterate, I tried to do a blind react to this and failed. So anyways, let's get into it. The first thing I want you guys to look at, though, is look at the difference in the way that their footwork is and their center of gravity. Graham and Michael, they're both the same weight, they're the same height, more or less on paper, but Graham's a lot more stocky, and Michael Reeves is a lot more lean, let's say, looking. And you'll notice that Graham, his footwork, it's a lot more shuffly like this, right? Whereas Michael Reeves is a lot more bouncy, doing this, right? And neither one is objectively wrong or right, but they actually correspond well to the body structures. The way that Graham's doing his footwork and the way that Michael Reeves is doing his footwork, they're kind of optimal for how their bodies look, just from an anthropometric point of view. So let's get started. Michael Reeves looks really sharp. Graham, he's kind of more pushing his punches, doing this rather than snapping it. He's keeping his right, he's pushing his right arm when, yeah, okay, let me pause it. So, problem, like Graham's already getting clipped, is what he is kind of trying to do, or should be trying to do, is when he throws the left, because now he's opening down the center line, he should be just moving his hand this way, so like this. But because he's over exaggerated and he's kind of trying to block with his right hand at the same time, he's doing effectively like two punches at once instead of. And it comes out later in the fight and is quite an important and decisive reason why that Michael is able to capitalize on. And you can even see here in this freeze frame, I mean, that is that foot base that Michael has, it's quite extended, but he's going in the body and he's slipping at the same time. That's pretty advanced of a move. I mean, he's really getting in there like that. It's something that you don't usually see very, very beginner fighters capable of, or adventurous enough to try, let's put it that way. You see, Graham's not bringing his hand back either. So his punches are also weak, but they're also not coming back for defensive responsibility. So another thing is, look how his hand. Let's go back just a second so I can pause it. Freeze frame it. Okay. See how his arms are out like this, like a chicken? He needs to bring them in, tuck them in, right? Like this. And the other thing is, since he doesn't really have the reflexes to like parry or slip, and he has a shorter reach than Michael Reeves, he'd be better off kind of having more of like a Muay Thai guard holding out like this, and it can disrupt your vision, but all it takes is, you know, the difference between this and like a slight alteration. You just find where the edge of your vision is, and then you just come in like that. You can kind of block by just like chopping your arms together, or like, you know, if you're a woman, you want to shove your tits up, basically doing that. But that would be a lot better, especially because if his defensive and offensive coaches had done their homework, they would have seen that while Michael Reeves was really good with his straight punches, his hooks are terrible, and they're very slow and very telegraphed. They look like this. Like, I can't even do it because it's so bad, right? Like, he brings his whole body back and he shifts. Instead of like one motion like that, it's right? So you'd see it from a mile away. So while if he has his hands here, this is exposed, he'd never get clipped by it. And I don't know if that's the fault of his defensive team or just didn't have enough time to react to it, but you'll notice that also plays a big, big decisive factor in the fight. Yeah, again, like he's pushing two hands at once. That was an okay jab, but it's off balance, he's getting turned. As Michael's just moving around, and the good thing that Graham is doing is that he's being very aggressive, he's blitzing, and it is kind of getting Michael out of rhythm because there's only so many punches in a row you can block when you get put in a corner. And that would have been the strategy that you'd want Graham to apply would be to get him back in the corner, get him close up, and start making it a little dirty. But see, he's backing up. He shouldn't. That was a little bit of a good feint, but and see, okay, this is what Graham did right, and this is what Graham did wrong right here. I'm just gonna play it again for you to see it, and then I'll go through it. So feint, good. Jab, 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 good. Left himself open, right? So he does it. He's getting there, but he gets greedy. He does too many in a row, and he leaves himself open. If he had just done like one or two of those, and then set back, done again, set back, he might have been really successful. And then, because his opponent doesn't know if it's going to be two or whatever, he gets used to it being like two punches a row. Then he can start doing that follow up. But he just he got caught into like a repetitive motion trap. It's something that beginners get, is they do one motion and it works, and then they just keep doing it. Like they kind of forget everything, and it's just like this, right? And then, of course, you get hit and you get stunned, and all of a sudden you're like, where the fuck am I? And you have to reset. The fact that Michael was waiting for that shot too is it shows some really good wherewithal. And right there, like Michael Reeves, like his shots are timed. Like he's waiting for an opening. Always, and he's going straight down the center line where I said that hole is. Very good. You know, slipping, jabbing to the body, good. He's doing a little motion with his hands. Graham's also like he's turning a bit too much when he throws the jab, but he likes to get like bladed, but he's just getting off balance because his feet are still too square while he's doing it. Like his stance is not right for his lower body stance is not right for the upper body stance, if that makes sense. He looks really tired. Now, on paper, they probably threw a similar amount of punches. I don't know what the actual score is. And I could see some judges even actually giving that to Graham just because he blitzed at the beginning and he kind of overwhelmed him. But philosophically speaking, let's say, Michael Reeves dominated that round because he was able to deal with the blitz, deal with anything that that Graham gave him, and he adopted a strategy and he was starting to counter and really come in and get that left, and I think he's really setting up for that right. So in the sense that like boxers like Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez, they often lose the first rounds, but it's because they're learning how their opponent works and then they adapt to it and capitalize on it. That's more like what Michael is doing, whereas Graham is kind of just relying on a game plan that he came up before. See, like that's where he was doing good with the first couple, maybe the third jab, but then he needed to just reset, gets defensive. And that was a really good one too by Michael right there. Come over the top of his guard and hit him. But it's easy because his guard is low. He keeps dropping it, and it's not in the right spot. I mean, the whole reason why you want your guard here rather than like here is not so much to block; it's to block, or to move it here or to here. Because here, you're still open here, right? So otherwise, might as well lift it up and just crunch and protect and just be a shell, like which obviously isn't going to win you a fight, right? Yeah. See, okay, wait. There's the tally. Let me. Sorry. 9 of 44, 8 of 27. Yeah, so see, Graham actually landed more punches, not as many good punches. Oh, sorry, that's the jab. Power 2. Yeah, so they actually landed the exact same amount of punches. So on a scorecard, they might be even, but no. Michael definitely won that round. And you see how much more even he is? 30, 30, 30 versus 20, 18, 20. Well, I guess they're both about even, but... So Graham's output was much more prolific, but his accuracy was worse. That shows that Michael's picking his shots better. I don't know why they're doing this camera angle. It's horrible. It's pointless. Yeah, look, he's punching with two hands, you know. Yeah, he's just getting lit up now. And he's just running in. Like, at this point, he should have got back and, like, reset a bit. But I think based on the psychology of of him from what I know is he just wants the fight to be over. I don't even think he wants to be there. So he's kind of sabotaging himself in some respects. See, look, there's that hook that I said that's very, very slow. You know, look at that. It's like cartoonish. Whoop, whoop. Like you can see that from a fucking country mass mile. Good head movement, man. You see it just rolled under there. Great. Good head movement. Like, look how open Graham is. You can see from this angle. Look how fucking open he is. And that wouldn't be so bad if he knew how to parry or slip, but he doesn't. So that's why his coaches should have said, hey, look, we didn't prepare you in the time that you had. So instead of trying to rely on blocking punches and slipping, we should we should do more of a Muay Thai guard, like out like this, right? Something like this, right? Then his hands are here. He's got more distance. He's able to just push out and keep him at bay and kind of come up and do his little kind of like pushy jabs and try to just score as much as he could and then get back. But what are you gonna do, right? They're beginners after all. Like I'm being very critical of two people that have spent like 3 months training or something. But I am very impressed with both of them, anyways, especially Michael. But based on how much time they had, like it's impressive. Look at the position Graham is there. It's just terrible. Just and he looks away too. Look, he's not even looking. He's yeah, good movement, good job, and he's very composed too, Michael. And he's not getting cocky. He's not like saying, "Oh, I landed. Let's splits in." He's still picking his shots. Good body, good body. Yeah, and he's setting up for the upstairs. See, even the commentators knew, you know. And commentators are shit. I'm telling you, but that was good. That was a great setup. Yeah, good. It's over, man. Yeah, good stoppage. You know, some people they want blood. They're, oh, he wasn't even knocked out. No, man, he was out before he even started the fight. If you look at the psychology um, that he talked about before the fight ended, or before the fight started. I mean, I did an in-depth analysis on this, but he was totally checked out. Um, I did want to do kind of a case study on the psychology, like a post-fight, but I figure a lot of the people that might be watching this fight in particular they're not necessarily fans of the sport as much as they are fans of Michael Reeves or Graham Stephan. So for that reason, I think I'll leave it to a separate video because it might be kind of like superfluous to these people who don't really care that much. They just kind of want to know what's going on for this fight in particular, and that's about it. Um, so yeah, I'll leave that to another video or video series, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. I'll leave with one thing is that both guys were really good. They for how much time they spent and they accomplished the number one and number two goals that they set out to do, which was like number one, raise money for charity. Great job, very laudable reason. Number two, they entertained us, right? They entertained everybody, and that's not easy to do. Most amateur fights are very boring. Some professional fights are really boring. So really interesting, very good fight, and congratulations to both of them.